Hey guys, how's everyone doing this evening? Shout out to our members, to everyone in the chat. We have Fun to Be Blonde, The Plainest Jane, Velvet Pixie that stands with the rabbit, Barbie. We have Dukes here. We have who else? Who else do we have? We have DK here. Who else? Who else? Who else? I'm looking at our members. Shout out to you guys and thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna give people a couple of minutes to get in here because I need to understand this piece. What is it about Costco and parents and kids? I don't know what I know, right? Don't ever show, and please let me not say that because I don't want to give some bad publicity to a potential, sponsor, right? Not that I want to sponsor Costco. I do tend to stay away from Costco. I really, really do. Blessed I am. Welcome, welcome to our chat. I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out. Is it Costco or is it parenting? What is it? Because are we back to what was going on in the summer with the hashtag Costco girl? So we had a TikToker, okay, that captured something. All right, captured just some interactions, and it's really concerning actually. I'm gonna have you guys watch. The Daily Dot was the first article to report off of this from a TikTok, and then we have like a statement from this TikToker that I want you guys to hear. And what we want to do right now is we don't want to go out there and go crazy, but we want to assess the situation. We want to look at it as analytically as possible. Okay. We don't want to discredit. We don't want to judge. Um, I just I stay away from all big stores like that because they do drive me a little bit crazy. I'm just going to say that. I don't know what it is about Costco and all these other stores that tend to just bring the worst out of me. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I'm going to have you guys watch this first clip and you guys let me know what your thoughts are.
I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
You know what? You're abusive. Get out of my face.
Do not come
Now.
near me.
Let's go. So we're gonna call the police right now. I really don't care what you do, honestly. Great. Wonderful. You're not right. You're not right either. So bye. Right.
Are you okay?
Stop it. People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron.
No, because you're acting wrong.
You know what? Why don't you mind your own business?
Yes. You slammed him against the wall and told him you're gonna punch him in front of all these people here.
Yes, I did. I threatened my child.
Dame el teléfono.
Oh my God.
Llámala. Llámala, Eli. Que ella se pone brava, llámala.
Alrighty. So let me put that on pause real quick. Okay. So yes, the plainest Jane, self-admitting, yes, I did threaten my child. Okay. There was some Spanish speaking happening. So you definitely understand that there is some dialect. The dad, which is the girl that, and you guys will hear her statement, but I could definitely pick up on the Spanish. And he's telling somebody else that speaks Spanish, whatever she's doing is not right. It's not right. Okay. Why don't we watch it again and see if we get a different feeling of what's going on before we get to her statements, okay?
I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
I said. You know what? You're abusive. Get out of my face.
Do not come
Now.
near me.
Let's go.
So we're gonna call the police right now.
I really don't care what you do, honestly. Great. Wonderful.
You're not right.
You're not right either. So bye.
Right.
Are you okay?
Stop it. People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron.
No, because you're acting wrong.
You know what? Why don't you mind your own business?
Yes. You slammed him against the wall and told him you're gonna punch him in front of all these people here.
Yes, I did. I threatened my child.
Dame el teléfono.
Oh my God.
Llámala. Llámala, Eli. Que ella se pone brava, llámala. Que tiene el costo, dile que la...
So one thing I picked up, the man in the background, I believe is her dad, the TikToker's dad, says, "Mira cómo trata el niño, no está bien, no está bien," which is like, look how he's treating the child. It's not good. It's not good. I definitely picked up on that. The people in the are saying to call the police. So you have people that are speaking Spanish saying, "Hey, call the police. Call the police." Okay? So then I'm thinking, all right, well, we only saw a portion of this or a piece of it just looking at that. Let me share with you guys the other clip, which gives us a little bit more of a statement of what happened at the Costco. Let's see if I can put that up here and share my screen with you guys. Let's go. Hopefully it's the right clip. Here we go. So this is her, okay? And let's get started all the way in the beginning. Make sure I play it from the beginning.
All right, so I want to start off this video with that 10-second clip I'm showing you guys, which is a lady at Costco, a worker at Costco. Now, this is a Costco at South Airport Boulevard in South San Francisco. The worker, the lady, is saying that the lady in the video banged her kid up against the wall, and that's why we started recording. So a little background. Me and my dad go to this line at Costco. Once we arrive, we see the kid on the side with the cart. So now everyone knows, like in Costco, the carts go on one side of the cashier, the people go on the other. The kid was on the cart side. The mom sees him. She's like, "Oh, like, get your ass over here." Starts saying a bunch of stuff to him really loudly. Everyone's looking at her now. At this point, we're all looking at her like, okay, all right, no one's interfering. Again, that's her kid. You know, obviously some parents talk to some kids differently. Now, the kid, she drags him to the other side from his sweater. She proceeds to scan her Costco card. When they are done scanning her card, she turns over and still sees the kid just standing there. And she grabs him from like his jacket, from his shoulder, and she literally throws him up against the wall. And at this point, the kid bangs up against the wall. She comes behind him, grabs his head, and just puts his head up against that plexiglass wall. And her body comes behind him and presses up against him. And she comes up to him really closely and says, "I'm gonna punch you in the face in front of all these fucking people here." Immediately, I pull out my phone. At this point, she grabs him and like throws him where we see in the video where that kid is there. That's when he's just like, you know, head down, holding himself. So everything else from there, you guys see. The lady is admitting that she threatened her kid. I'm literally saying what she is doing, and now we have evidence of another person seeing the same thing. So I end up calling the cops. I'm on the phone with the police. The lady, you can see in the video, she's in the wrong. If you're a mother disciplining your child and you're getting accused of abuse, if I was in her position, I would have been like, I'm gonna wait for the cops. Let them check the cameras. No, the lady knew what she was doing. She left her groceries and just, you know, proceeded to leave. She just left everything. And I was talking to the cops. I was giving them descriptions of the lady. Now, I thought that Costco security.
And that is what we have. Okay, let me make sure I stop it and we'll rewind and watch. Okay, so if you hear what she is saying, she's saying that the lady left her groceries there. And we do see her leaving in a hurry, okay? We see her with the child, and I'm assuming she's speaking about the child looking down, and we're going to go back to that clip. Let me stop sharing this real quick so we can just rewatch it, because I feel like we get a different take based on just the statement that she has given. See if I can pull that up again. Here we go. Oh, not that one. This one. My bad, my bad. Okay, so based on the statement, all right, saying that she left her groceries there. We do see her leave in a hurry. Let's look at this again and then compare it with her statement. See if we see something that Maybe maybe it's something we're reading way too much into it. It sounds like she called the police. Based on the Daily Dot article, we're also going to look into that as well to kind of figure out, well, what was the outcome? But why would she makes a good point, okay? Why would she leave her groceries behind? And let's look at that.
I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
You know what? You're abusive. Get out of my face.
Do not come
Now.
near me.
Let's go.
So we're gonna call the police right now.
I really don't care what you do, honestly.
I don't care you.
Great. Wonderful.
You're not right.
You're not right either. So
You're
bye.
not right.
Are you okay?
No lo estoy grabando, mira. Eso es lo que viene que está haciendo.
Stop it. People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron.
No, because you're acting wrong.
You know what? Why don't you mind your own business?
Yes. You slammed him against the wall and
I didn't
told
slap
him
him against anything.
you're gonna punch him in front of all these people here.
Yes, I did. I threatened my child.
Dame el teléfono.
Oh my God.
Llámala. Llámala, Eli. Todavía se pone brava, llámala.
I definitely saw her walk away and left her groceries there. Did everybody see that? She left her groceries behind. And not only did I see her, so she has, it looks like it's 2 children. Let's go back a little bit, okay? Because I'm going to go back and see this. And we're going to just do it in slow-mo real quick. Look at this right here. Okay, so we know that the child in reference, it has to be this one with the colored sweater, right? Let me see. Pulling up a little bit. There's a couple children there. Do you guys see that? And I'm just doing a little quick rewind. The child looking down. This child right here is the one that we're talking about, right? Child's looking down, visibly looks upset. Okay, so then when you keep going, okay, there's another child over here. These 2 little girls behind him, which I don't know if they belong to her. We don't know. It only looks like there's one child right there. Okay, you keep going on the clip, and we're going to keep going. And as she's kind of doing her thing, arguing back and forth, okay, child's still looking down, calls a child saying, you know, you're acting like a moron. That happens. Okay, and then we get to this part right here. All right, her groceries are there. And then, still arguing back and forth. If we go into it, this right here. So she walks out. The child's walking away. The one that was looking down, he's still looking down. Do you see that? And then picks up another child. That's what I caught here. See? There's another child. So there's 2 children, okay? 2 children, one of which is being carried out. And the TikTok ends right there. The groceries are left behind, all right? They're still there. What are your guys' thoughts about this? Because I was a little like, all right, so what do we make of this? You know, as someone that kind of looks into that, I'm just like, all right, well, what's next? Did they call the cops? What happened next? I don't know. There were other children there, and I kind of wondered if it was just the child next to her that was looking down, if there was more. But it looks like there was a little one over there as well, right? So she goes and she carries a child, and then she leaves the groceries behind. Why would you leave your groceries behind? That's such a good point. I want us to think back with the Costco situation, right? The family was eating. The family was eating, okay? And they didn't like they were walking away from that person that was making those allegations against them, right? It doesn't mean that anything was happening. They were just walking away. But this woman literally leaves her groceries right there at the checkout. Okay, so she was checking out, and you kind of see her. What got to me was that there's another child there, very much younger, okay, and she's out of there quick. out of there quick. Let's go back to her statement, okay? To the TikToker statement, and let's see if we find something. If something doesn't make sense, like I said, I like to look at things a little bit, a couple times, to kind of make sense of what we're watching and seeing. Let me look at this real quick. See if we can bring her up again. Here she is. Does her story change? The TikTok is very short. We clearly have a lot more questions, but let's see what she says.
Aquí en el poste, dile que la-
She was lying that they were recording, but she was complaining.
All right, so I want to start off this video with that 10-second clip I'm showing you guys, which is a lady at Costco, a worker at Costco. Now, this is a Costco at South Airport Boulevard in South San Francisco. The worker, the lady, is saying that the lady in the video banged her kid up against the wall, and that's why we started recording. So a little background. Me and my dad go to this line at Costco. Once we arrive, we see the kid on the side with the cart. So now everyone knows, like in Costco, the carts go on one side of the cashier, the people go on the other. The kid was on the cart side. The mom sees him. She's like, oh, like, get your ass over here. Starts saying a bunch of stuff to him really loudly. Everyone's looking at her now. At this point, we're all looking at her like, okay, all right, no one's interfering. Again, that's her kid. You know, obviously some parents talk to some kids differently. Now, the kid, she drags him to the other side from his sweater. She proceeds to scan her Costco card. When they are done scanning her card, she turns over and still sees the kid just standing there. And she grabs him from like his jacket, from his shoulder, and she literally throws him up against the wall. And at this point, the kid bangs up against the wall. She comes behind him, grabs his head, and just puts his head up against that plexiglass wall. And her body comes behind him and presses up against him. And she comes up to him really closely and says, I'm gonna punch you in the face in front of all these fucking people here. Immediately, I pull out my phone. At this point, she grabs him and like throws him where we see in the video where that kid is there. That's when he's just like, you know, head down, holding himself. So everything else from there, you guys see. The lady is admitting that she threatened her kid. I'm literally saying what she is doing, and now we have evidence of another person seeing the same thing. So I end up calling the cops. I'm on the phone with the police. The lady, you can see in the video, she's in the wrong. If you're a mother disciplining your child and you're getting accused of abuse, if I was in her position, I would have been like, I'm gonna wait for the cops. Let them check the cameras. No, the lady knew what she was doing. She left her groceries and just, you know, proceeded to leave. She just left everything. And I was talking to the cops. I was giving them descriptions of the lady. Now I thought that Costco security.
All right, so that's where it stops, okay? I want to kind of bring attention to this, okay? In the earlier clip, this is like a part 2, right? To before she gets to the statements. Let me see if we can go back a little bit, because I feel like it on the first part where we see her leave, then we see a little bit more here on this side. Let's see. In slow-mo, we're watching. See, she's out there with the second child and takes the child, right? And the camera kind of goes in the other side. You definitely have a couple of witnesses here, guys. You have the TikToker saying that she's with her dad at the Costco, and I hear the Spanish saying, I mean, is he another witness as to what happened, right? Because he's telling him, you know what, the way he grabbed the kid, like they're reiterating what they saw in the story or in the event, not the story, but the actual incident. So to me, it's like, look, you got all these people. The difference between this and say what happened in the summer is that you actually have several people here, okay? You actually have several people here. And then you actually have somebody that leaves their groceries, grabs the kid, and leaves. Now, I'm not going to crucify this woman quite yet. Like, I'd like to understand what happened. And I definitely wouldn't say that this witness and this TikToker is 100% on point. What we know is often when people come up with these stories or see things, right? You have to take the events as they come, one by one, and piece them together before you say this is fact. What else are we needing to see? What do we need? Well, if it happened at the Costco, there should be some video. There might not be audio, but there might be video. So we don't know if the police grabbed the video. We don't know anything. The Daily Dot was the first article to report on this. And let me stop this real quick and I will show you guys what they said. And you guys tell me if you guys feel a little bit different about it, if it's a concern. They're the ones that kind of, officially broke the story. Okay. Why didn't she make a video about what she told the police? Right. I think she was telling the police on the phone. I don't know if they stayed there, but that's a great question though. So this is the story that they broke. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Oh, my bad. Let's go back here because this is really blurry for me too. All right. Let's go to this story. So his body language speaks volumes. Body language speaks volumes. We saw the child in that video clip look down, right? We saw him looking down. I mean, you also have an adult. I don't know if it's a parent, an adult, a caretaker that said, you see what's going on? They're going to call the police because you're acting like a moron. There was no anything but that. You just berated the child in front of people. Okay? It is crazy. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. Ooh, yeah, don't do that. And then you got all this attention and you got all these people around you watching you. So this was November 8th. We are now on the 9th. A woman is seen speaking to a child with his head down and arms crossed while checking out at the Costco. TikToker Eileen Molina, who posted the video, wrote that she had been slamming the child around and saying horrible things to him inside the store. I'm recording you, lady, says Molina in the video, because this is definitely abuse. The woman calls Molina abusive and tells the TikToker to get out of her face. Molina asks the child if he's okay after a man tells the woman that he plans to call the police on her. After a man tells the woman that he plans to call the police on her. So there was somebody else in there. Okay? People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron. And I quote, and that's exactly what we heard in the video. The woman yells at the child. Okay? Video. Molina then says that the woman slammed the child against the wall. That's what she said in her statement, which the woman denies. When Molina tells the woman she heard her tell her son she was going to punch him, the woman says he's my child. Huh. And what does she do when she's confronted? She doesn't deny it. Maybe she's being sarcastic, maybe she's irritated, but she reiterates the statement and we'll play it again. The video has garnered over 4 million views since it was posted, and Molina promised an update in the comments section. Commenters expressed concerns for the child in the video. And then you have some comments from the video. The worst thing ever. This poor child went home and probably got it worse at home. Yeah, I bet. Because she wasn't giving any idle threats there. So that kind of concerned me in that situation. So she's probably a foster parent. That's what someone said. His body language speaks volumes. The Daily Dot has reached out to Molina and Costco. And that's all we have, guys. We have nothing else but that. And that to me is what makes me a little bit more irritated because it's like we still don't know what happened afterwards. What did the police say? What did the police do? So, yeah, when you're out in public, and this is where I feel like this is where, and shout out to I Love My Wife 0007, okay? I feel like this is where there is a vigilant eye that needs to be kept. We don't know what follow-up happened, right? if you are a citizen, a taxpayer, and you pay for social services, your taxes, all that other stuff, yeah, you should be able, as a concerned citizen, know, okay, my report was accepted to CPS, the police took action. You may not get the privacy parts, right? Like, you're not going to know everything, but what action was taken based off of the report that was made? That can be told to you, right? So let's watch the video one more time. I'm getting that request. I'm seeing the chat. You guys tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Okay, we're going to watch the first video clip and we'll slow it down and everything so you guys can hear some of the comments. I hear a lot of the Spanish, and I know that the other person is speaking in Spanish. The male, sounds like a male to me, saw what happened because of how he's describing it as well. So let's go ahead and watch this clip again. Let's see.
Recording you, lady, because this is. I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
I said, you know what? You're abusive. Get out of my face.
Do not come
Now.
near me.
Let's go.
So we're gonna call the police right now.
I really don't care what you do, honestly.
I don't tell you.
Great. Wonderful.
You're not right.
You're not right either. So bye.
You're not right.
Are you okay?
I want to bring up a point real quick, and so I understand what you're saying. Okay, I'm not trying to run a narrative against someone. I want us to think about it this way: you're at a store, at a Costco, okay, and you're strangers. You guys are all strangers. For somebody to say to you, "You're not right," you're not right, and she says you're not right. What boundaries? You have to ask yourself, what boundaries were crossed for that to happen? What happened that led to that? So when I think back of what happened with Costco girl in the summer, what is different is this, is in my mind, how that proceeded itself, the details, the fact that you got other witnesses in this one makes it completely different than the Costco situation. And you have more witnesses. I'm curious to know, and I don't want to write the narrative, so I'm just saying that out there. I just think that there's something to be said about this clip. You got people around here.
No, está llorando, mira. Eso es lo que viene que está haciendo.
Stop it. People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron.
No, because you're acting wrong.
You know what? Why don't you mind your own business?
Yes. You slammed him against the wall and told him you're gonna punch him in front of all these people here.
Yes, I did. I threatened my child.
Now, devil's advocate, and you're fine, Louis, don't worry. I figured, I got you. Devil's advocate, okay? I'm just gonna play it. This mom is really frustrated, or this guardian, I don't know if it's a mom, right? This guardian is really frustrated, okay? Maybe she's being sarcastic by the way in which she responds. I am playing the devil's advocate right now. Maybe she's a babysitter. Thank you, Laurel. It could very well be just a guardian. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you this. What happened? What preceded for her to say what she said in front of everyone and then call the child a moron? To me, there's a lack of boundary right there, right then and there, that you couldn't, not that you couldn't save that narrative for later, but she could not calm herself down as she's checking herself out. Something happened before that. Exactly. And that's the footage we don't have. Where is the footage where she's slamming the child? And it is very detailed. We were told, based on her statement on the TikToker, that the child was slammed against a plexiglass, right? Isn't that what everybody heard? And we can play it again. But she's actually blaming the child. Thank you, sophisticated brat. Shout out to you. She's blaming the child for the police being called. Huh. Interesting.
Oh my God.
Llámala. Llámala, Eli. Pero ella se pone brava, llámala.
Did she come back and get her groceries at least? I mean, she left them there, guys. I'm kind of curious. And then Lynn T says, I'm checking out the Costco employee at the counter in the gray jacket, not doing ish. Nah, I'm not sold. So what happened prior to that was recorded. Ooh, you don't think it was recorded? Yeah, and the thing is it's the verbiage. Thank you, Articulate. It doesn't really matter. There is some body language issues there. And then you have the parent calling the child a moron. You're acting like a moron. She's blaming him. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just kind of curious to know, well, what action or inaction or what happened? Did the cops take any action? Was this reported? She can't be accountable for her behavior. She just leaves stuff and goes and tells me everything. Yeah, so why does she leave? Why does she leave? I know, right? Chaos and earthquake. Here's the thing, is like, what is it about Costco? What is it about? I'm like, what's going on at Costco's nowadays? I don't know. Now, it's pretty detailed. The article that we read matches to the TikToker statement, to Eileen's statement. Okay. I'm just kind of curious to know, well, what's the next step? What's going to happen? What was reported? What wasn't reported? I'm going to go back to Eileen's statement one more time, and you guys feel like just hear what she's saying, because I feel like the difference, it goes back to how Eileen is reporting versus what was on that other Costco incident, if you ever followed it, that made things a little bit different. This girl seems to be very detailed. Things seem to be very much in verbatim. The statement matches the article, but did the TikToker give the statement to the police? Yes. So she also says that she called the police and she was on the phone. So we don't know what came out of that. But let me go ahead and share that other video clip again and see if you guys can determine, see it. You guys let me know. We don't have an update quite yet. We need to have an update, and I would love to see that update. See if it's here.
I'm recording you.
Nope, not this one. Sorry, guys. It's the other one. Alrighty, here we go. Tells her I'm recording you. Here we go.
All right, so I want to start off this video with that 10-second clip I'm showing you guys, which is a lady at Costco, a worker at Costco. Now, this is a Costco at South Airport Boulevard in South San Francisco. The worker, the lady, is saying that the lady in the video banged her kid up against the wall, and that's why we started recording. So a little background. Me and my dad go to this line at Costco. Once we arrive, we see the kid on the side with the cart. So now everyone knows, like in Costco, the carts go on one side of the cashier, the people go on the other. The kid was on the cart side. The mom sees him. She's like, oh, like, get your ass over here. Starts saying a bunch of stuff to him really loudly. Everyone's looking at her now. At this point, we're all looking at her like, okay, all right, no one's interfering. Again, that's her kid. You know, obviously some parents talk to some kids differently. Now, the kid, she drags him to the other side from his sweater. She proceeds to scan her Costco card. When they are done scanning her card, she turns over and still sees the kid just standing there. And she grabs him from like his jacket, from his shoulder, and she literally throws him up against the wall. And at this point, the kid bangs up against the wall. She comes behind him, grabs his head, and just puts his head up against that plexiglass wall. And her body comes behind him and presses up against him. And she comes up to him really closely and says, I'm gonna punch you in the face in front of all these fucking people here. Immediately, I pull out my phone. At this point, she grabs him and like throws him where we see in the video, where that.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because Louis, you're bringing up a good point. So this woman never actually witnessed a child being pushed. if we go back, because it sounds like based on how, I mean, these are very, very much details. Who saw and witnessed a child being pushed against the plexiglass? That's the piece that I was like, wait a minute, Eileen, let's go back a little bit. What did Eileen witness that made her push, like get her phone out? Because her phone didn't come out until way later, until after the pushing, right? So Louie, you think she's adding a little extra. Okay, let's go back a little bit real quick.
All right, so I want to start off this video with that 10-second clip I'm showing you guys, which is a lady at Costco, a worker at Costco. Now, this is a Costco at South Airport Boulevard in South San Francisco. The worker, the lady, is saying that the lady in the video banged her kid up against the wall, and that's why we started recording.
The lady at Costco said that she banged the child against the wall. Okay. That's what we're hearing. I'm not here. That's what led the phone to be pulled out. Am I hearing this correctly? I want to make sure I'm not making this up. Go ahead.
So a little background. Me and my dad go to this line at Costco. Once we arrive, we see the kid on the side with the cart. So now everyone knows, like in Costco, the carts go on one side of the cashier, the people go on the other. The kid was on the cart side. The mom sees him. She's like, oh, like, get your ass over here. Starts saying a bunch of stuff to him really loudly. Everyone's looking at her now. At this point, we're all looking at her like, okay, all right, no one's interfering. Again, that's her kid. You know, obviously some parents talk to some kids differently. Now, the kid, she drags him to the other side from his sweater. She proceeds to scan her Costco card. When they are done scanning her card, she turns over and still sees the kid just standing there. And she grabs him from like his jacket, from his shoulder, and she literally throws him up against the wall. And at this point, the kid bangs up against the wall. She comes behind him, grabs his head, and just puts his head up against that plexiglass wall. And her body comes behind him and presses up against him.
The plexiglass at Costco? So the way I see this, did we see a plexiglass? Guys, did we see a plexiglass where the cashier was at? Does anybody, I did see that. Did anybody remember seeing that? Because I do remember that there was so was the cashier there when this was happening as well? Because that's how I'm hearing this happening.
And she comes up to him really closely and says, I'm gonna punch you in the face in front of all these fucking people here. Immediately, I pull out my phone. At this point, she grabs him and like throws him where we see in the video where that kid is there. That's when he's just like, you know, head down, holding himself.
Let me stop right here. They have a plexiglass, right? That's what I thought. Let me stop right here real quick. Let's go back to that other video, because that's the piece that I said, all right, so somebody must have told her something was happening. How many times did this kid get slammed against the plexiglass? Because it sounds like it might have been more than once. Did anybody catch that? There's the plexiglass. It's a COVID glass, right? So is she saying that this kid was slammed against that plexiglass? Is that what I'm hearing?
Lady, because this is definitely abuse.
Okay.
You know what?
Did you hear that? She said, over there, I said. Very sternly.
You're abusive. Get out of my face.
Do not come
Now.
near me.
Let's go. So we're gonna call the police right now. I really don't care what you do, honestly. Great. Wonderful.
You're not right.
You're not right either. So bye.
So you got how many witnesses there, guys? We got the cashier. We got witnesses around. You got some other kids over there. You got the other customers right there. The plexiglass is right there. Did she slam him against that plexiglass that's supposed to protect people from COVID? That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing her statement is said. Thank you. Why didn't the store step in? So I'm thinking that maybe the cashier was there and was like reporting what was going on. She got a little concerned. Everybody then got involved. The plexiglass is right there, right in front of the cashier. So that means that the child's face was against that plexiglass wall where the cashier could see it. And I highly, highly, highly believe that we would have a couple cameras in the cashier area where the money's handled. But she says in another clip, the worker saw it, right? So is she referencing the worker from like the cashier? How many times did this child have his face slammed to this plexiglass? Really, that's the question. So we know that it does exist. Let's go back to her statement real quick because I feel like we're getting at least some sense of what this is looking like. All right, let's go back to Eileen.
So everything else from there, you guys see, the lady is admitting that she threatened her kid. I'm literally saying what she is doing, and now we have evidence of another person seeing the same thing. So I end up calling the cops. I'm on the phone with the police. The lady, you can see in the video, she's in the wrong. If you're a mother disciplining your child and you're getting accused of abuse, if I was in her position, I would have been like, I'm gonna wait for the cops. Let them check the cameras. No, the lady knew what she was doing. She left her groceries and just, proceeded to leave. She just left everything. And I was talking to the cops. I was giving them descriptions of the lady. Now I thought that Costco security.
So she doesn't finish this TikTok. This is as far as it goes. But I feel like I have a visual. I feel like we have people here. Let me see. Look how many people we have. You got like a manager over here, right? This person, I mean, they look like they have name tags. I'm assuming that these people work here, okay? That's just my thought, right? I'm looking. You have this guy has an AirPod in his ear, okay? You got another cashier over here. There's a child, a little child, okay? You got this manager or worker, okay? So this is kind of how the clip ends. And then you have this man right here who has his groceries there. The plexiglass is there. And there's her groceries and she's out, right? Let's see.
Start off this video with that 10-second clip I'm showing you guys, which is a lady at Costco, worker at Costco. Now, this is a Costco at South Airport Boulevard in South San Francisco. The worker, the lady, is saying that the lady in the video banged her kid up against the wall, and that's why we started recording. So a little background. Me and my dad go to this line at Costco. Once we arrive, we see the kid on the side with the cart. So now everyone knows, like in Costco, the carts go on one side of the cashier and the people go on the other. The kid was on the cart side. The mom sees him. She's like, oh, like, get your ass over here. Starts saying a bunch of stuff to him really loudly. Everyone's looking at her now. At this point, we're all looking at her like, okay, all right, no one's interfering.
So she does seem to conduct. She doesn't seem to care. I'll give her that, right? She called her child a moron in front of everyone. She doesn't really care. Like, I could see kind of maybe her being so frustrated that she just says it. Definitely verbally abusive. Most definitely. I definitely picked that up. I think, she self-admitted. Maybe she did it out of frustration. I'm not really sure. What do you guys think about that?
Fearing, again, that's her kid. Obviously some parents talk to some kids differently. Now, the kid, she drags him to the other side from his sweater. She proceeds to scan her Costco card. When they are done scanning her card, she turns over and still sees the kid just standing there. And she grabs him from like his jacket, from his shoulder, and she literally throws him up against the wall. And at this point, the kid bangs up against the wall. She comes behind him, grabs his head, and just puts his head up against that plexiglass wall. And her body comes behind him and presses up against him. and she comes up to him really closely and says, "I'm gonna punch you in the face in front of all these fucking people here." Immediately, I pull out my phone.
Okay, so we don't catch that on the phone. We don't catch that. We don't catch any, we just don't catch any of that at all. We don't catch her saying that to her, to the child, to her child, threatening. And that's the bottom line. They have video. And it happened in the cashier area. You mean to tell me they're not going to protect their money? Most definitely. Most definitely. Let me go back to that first clip, and you guys tell me if you see it a little bit different. If you, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? This is, I don't know what it is about Costco at all. I mean, does it just bring the worst? I don't like going to Costco at all. I really don't. I avoid Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart, all those big chains, just because I don't like going there at all.
I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
See, so here, the child's already looking down. Child's looking down. The lady's groceries are there. Okay, she's checking out.
I'm recording you, lady, because this is definitely abuse.
You know what? You're abusive. Get out of my face.
The child is whimpering. I could hear the child whimper. He's looking down. Okay, the plexiglass is there. Mom or guardian is very, very much defensive.
Do not come near me.
Let's go. So we gotta call the police right now. I really don't care what you do, honestly.
Shrugged her shoulders. I'm gonna call the police right now. I don't care what you do. What is going on?
Great. Wonderful. You're not right. You're not right either. So bye.
Are you okay?
Stop it. People are calling the cops because you're acting like a moron.
No, because you're acting wrong.
You know what? Why don't you mind your own business?
Yes. You slammed him against the wall and told him you're gonna punch him in front of all these people here.
Yes, I did. I threatened my child.
Okay, self-admitted. Yes, I did. I threatened my child. What are your guys' thoughts about this? It's a little disturbing. Definitely. Like I said, I'm just wondering what was so frustrating for, like, what was so frustrating? What started it? What initiated it?
Oh my God.
Llámala. Llámala, Eileen.
I'm assuming that that's her dad. Eileen says, I'm at Costco with my dad. I think that that's her dad. He's saying, call them, call them, call them, call them. So dad must have seen something as well.
Pero ella se pone brava, llámala.
All right. I don't know if she got her groceries. I don't know if she got, I mean, I'm just wondering what led to that. I'm kind of curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. We don't know anything else. I think the best we can do, yeah, oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. People are at the end of their ropes now. The lady lost it, no doubt, but the TikTok lady is making things worse for the kid. She swiped her card. The authorities will probably make a home visit. Right. So the Costco card, isn't that like a way to identify? You're coming in there, they want to know. You don't get any bags, you get boxes, right? I'm assuming it would have taken a long time to get these boxes things up there. It does not have anything to do with the child and everything to do with her. Exactly. Exactly. So what was wrong with this lady at the Costco? I don't care about the woman's feelings or excuses. Pay all children and those that are helpless. The Lord protects them. Yeah, pray for all those children. Absolutely. I don't know what happened. There is not much to go on. I would agree. I definitely would be concerned though, because the self-admitting, she called her child a moron. Okay. She didn't call him a moron. She said, you're acting like one, not saying that's any better. Got you, sugar. Okay, I got you. And you're right. She didn't call the child a moron, but she berated the child. Would you agree to that, sugar? She did she berated the child in front of everyone. I would agree with that. I feel like that's what she did. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. You're acting like one. You're acting like one, correct? I don't know. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Yes, the Costco scanned her membership card. They know who she is. Let's see. That is if she actually called the police. We do not know if she called the police. We are taking her word about the child, but not questioning if the police was called. That is absolutely correct, and we don't have anything. A Daily Dot, her self-admitting statements, we don't have anything. So we don't know. You're absolutely correct. We don't know what follow-up happened. We know that there was a lot of witnesses. There's a lot of people that heard what she said. She's not denying it at all. That's right. She's acting like she's entitled because the child, her property, is being reprimanded the way she sees it fit. Good point. Good point. Yeah, Daily do not. Okay, they don't do local news. So we have a location. We need to find out. I'm gonna reach out to. I mean, we're working on reaching out to that TikToker. Um, and just kind of finding out, well, what do they do about this? It would be nice to kind of contact the local police because we need to find out, well, what happened? Did they follow up? I don't like. It would be different to say, okay, the authorities followed up. We don't know. We're taking one person's word. I hope that they did. But I wanted to show you guys this other Costco story. Okay. Um, I would say that she berated that child. I don't know if there's footage out there where the child's face was against the plexiglass and somebody heard or saw that the child was threatened to be punched in the face or whatever. I would be concerned. I would be concerned. That's absolutely right. And you have to report any suspicion of abuse. Absolutely. Social media is not the most appropriate outlet. That's just my opinion. And I'm sure that a lot of people feel the same way as well. People need to stop having children or adopting them. Oh, if they can't control their emotions, I bet she abused that baby at home. And I kind of wonder too, they had a little young child there as well, but they left the groceries behind. We don't know what her home life looks like. Does she, I mean, was she so frustrated? Was she like, was there food in the house? They left the groceries behind. Did they come back for the groceries? Thank you, Laurel, for the super chat. Seriously, you need to get your kids a babysitter if the story is too stressful for you to go with them. You'll take them out of your frustrations. I would agree. I would agree. I would have to agree on that. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Bring the mess. Shout out to you. Shout out to our members for sure. Let me know what your guys think about the story. I know it's a little disturbing, but wanted to bring it. I haven't seen a whole lot of it being talked about on YouTube, but this is another problem, right? Like we see things like this, it's like, whoa. For me, I'm a little traumatized after what happened with the Costco girl, and how far people took that. And I definitely don't want us to take things too far when they don't need to be. But there are things, we need to report things like this. I don't know. And why would you put it on social media? I guess that would be a great question. Great question. You know, I'm just curious to know. Yeah, and maybe was it put on social media because of what happened with Costco girl? So now we have Costco boy? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I have not heard one person address parents getting the tools needed for better parenting. You know what, Just Jay? And you're absolutely correct. Correct. I would have to agree with that. I mean, not excusing her whatsoever. Not at all. So we just have to be very mindful and careful. And I'm from a very much a preventative mind frame. What happened? What led up to that? But again, that just didn't look right. It definitely didn't feel right. It made me wonder a little bit about the child. I'm hoping that the appropriate authorities were called. We need to follow up, and not you guys, but our end because of what we saw. Just making sure that Costco and Eileen and any other witnesses called the appropriate authorities, right? And this is how you handle this stuff. You just call, you make the call. I'm not from that area. right? So it's not like I'm going to go and demand X, Y, and Z, but I want to see what happened. And some of us are mandated reporters. Absolutely. I think the other thing too is you got to be careful out there when you're out in public with your kids. Don't don't think you're not being watched. Um, you're having a bad day, whatever. Like, don't just be very careful, guys. Yeah. So I didn't want to say this, but yes, he's now a Costco boy. I hate that. I don't know his name. That's the thing. Children have dignity too. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. It made me question her motives when she thought it was a bright idea to put it on social media, everything and everyone, versus calling the police immediately. I guess that's a great point. It talks, baby girls. Adults should have enough common sense to seek help. Let's see. When they feel it needed, or at their wits' end, it's the innocent that can't decide for themselves. That's absolutely right. They can't self-protect. Absolutely. And so we need to bring awareness to this, right? I think that there's also an issue there in terms of like, you see these kids, she just left the groceries there. Does she have enough food at home to feed them? We don't know. So those are things globally, socially that we have to think about before we say, all right, we're done. You know? Anyways, thank you so much for the super chats and stickers. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our mods. Thank you so much for helping us today. I know this was kind of like a last minute live, but I wanted to bring awareness to this Costco situation. Guys, if you got to go to Costco, leave the kids with the sitter. Don't do all that. Don't bring them to Costco. I don't know what it is about Costco. I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, I would have to agree. Report it. Report it. If you want to talk about your experience on social media, then you talk about it. But I guess, see, I have an issue with these clips being released and not having any consent of the kids. I mean, if nothing happened, then nothing happened. Yeah, maybe she didn't have enough money for the groceries. Maybe that's why she left her stuff there. I don't know. But see, Costco, when you're checking out, it's a huge process. It's so annoying. That's why I don't like going there. And then you don't even get bags, you get boxes. I get it, but just not my cup of tea. I don't know. Rabbit keeps talking about how she left the groceries there. Did she pay for them well, that's what I want to know, Miss. See, my thing is like if you're going to Costco, it's cuz you got a big family to feed, right? So, why would groceries are expensive, especially at Costco. Why would you leave the groceries behind? So I do have an issue with that. I have an issue with that, but maybe she was just done with it and she said, "I'm done. I don't want to argue with these people." Maybe she felt like accused. She was frustrated with everyone. I don't know. That's why she left the groceries there. I'm concerned because I wonder if she has any food at her home. That's all. For the kids to eat, Cuz we're only seeing one part. We don't know what the home life looks like. That's the problem. We don't know what somebody's home life looks like, right? So that's why I bring that up. Yeah, sorry. Don't laugh. Yeah. So just heads up, guys. Report. Don't just bring it up on social media. I am kind of curious to know what other actions were taken. We'll reach out to Eileen, and just make sure that it was taken care of, but before any stories get blown out of proportion and stuff. So just, giving you guys a heads up. Shout out to everyone on the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are done. Yeah, she was pretty mean for the night. We are done for the night. Sorry, I was looking at your comment and yeah, I got distracted. Bless Am says she was so, yeah. But it only gets worse. You get embarrassed, right? Like when the public sees you there. I don't know. Oh, oh my God. Rabbit needs to do a video on why my McDonald's ice cream is always broken. I heard something. I heard that the FBI got involved about the McFlurries. I'm not even joking about that. That's a real thing. McDonald's McFlurries machine. This side note, guys, totally different off topic. The FBI had to get involved because their machine was always broken. I'm not really sure why. I don't know. Saying don't have kids is not realistic. That is so true, Just Jay. Very, very true. So shout out to everyone on the chat, guys. I know this was a tough subject, topic, but wanted to bring awareness to this. Again, we'll follow up here and there. I don't ask my subscribers or my members to go out and do all this crazy stuff. We don't need to investigate this. I'm reporting this. We're going to follow up, and then I'll give you guys an update to see what we find out, okay? All right. Shout out to you guys, and you guys have a great rest of your night. Rabbits out.